Greetings to all my friends on YouTube and Facebook and wherever else this video is going to be seen and shared. If you know me as SaleenDriver, it's SaleenDriver. If you know me as Dane, it's your old friend Dane. Coming to you with another rant today. I'm enjoying doing these rants, get this stuff off my chest, and have a little fun, a little humor at the expense of the woke. These idiots running around being offended by literally everything. I mean, you live in the greatest country in the world with the most freedoms in the world, with a country that's accumulated more power and used it for more good than any other country or national entity in history. And yet you seem to find offense with everything. I mean, movie popcorn offends you because it's not popped with the right oil. A car name offends you. A sports team name offends you. A piece of iron and stone sitting in the middle of a park for depicting a man or a woman or a child dead for dozens or hundreds of years offends you. Y'all are insane. Y'all are uneducated, sick people, and you need to read a book. And you need help. Get help. But that's not why I'm here. I am here to go over team names. Now, I've done the National Felons League. I've done the National Bitches Association. I've done Major League Bitches, and I've done the National Hockey League. Now it's time to turn my little eyeballs to college football. Now, college football is populated between Division 1, Division 1A, Division 2, and Division 3. Hundreds and hundreds of teams. And I'm not going to go over them all. I mean, that would take me a year. I'm not going to bother with Division 3, Division 2, or even Division 1A. Even though there are plenty of examples of team names and mascots that would offend the woke. Covering just the Power 5. The ACC, the Pac-12, the Big 10, the Big 12, and the SEC would be sufficient, because a lot of teams in the lower divisions have the same names as the upper division names. So, why repeat my work, right? Anyway, semi-copious notes. I'm going to start today with the ACC. Then I'll do the other division, the other conferences in other videos. But today we're going to look at the ACC. We have two divisions in the ACC. We have the Atlantic and the Coastal. I'm going to start with the Atlantic, go in alphabetical order, tell you their team name and why it offends the woke. I'm not here to suggest new names. I'm just here to point out what you're doing wrong, and you guys can go out and fix it. Spend millions of dollars with a committee of the woke in your school. God knows you could throw a stone and hit a dozen woke college students that'd be more than happy to tell you what's wrong with your university in between sips of their soy lattes and their keto noodle bowls or whatever the hell they eat and drink now that makes them scrawny, pasty white, and woke. That's probably what's wrong with these kids. That's what they eat. They don't eat good food. They don't have good drink anymore, so they're pissed off all the time because their stomach is screwed up and they're pooping keto bricks. That's what's wrong with you people. You're not eating right. You heard it here last. Now remember, folks, this is meant to be humor. You guys remember humor. I'm not here to offend anybody. Not intentionally, anyway. I'm not here to make anybody mad. I'm here to make you laugh. If you get mad, that's your problem, not mine. Boston College Eagles, starting in the Atlantic Division. Well, Eagles, come on, that's an aggressive bird. Can't have aggression. Aggression is bad. Just ask the little beta males and the little soy boys out there and their soy latte pasty white girlfriends. They don't want aggressive males anymore. They want passive, girly men. So anything that isn't girly men or girly like or non-aggressive or whatever. But yes, I realize there are aggressive females. That's, this is the humor part, remember? Anyway, aggressive bird can't have that. Also, you're using an animal to exploit and making money off of that exploitation. So we can't have making money for the universities, even though they're charging exorbitant fees that they don't need to. They can make money, even on their sports team. So that's out. Clemson Tigers. Well, Clemsons are an aggressive cat. The Tigers are Clemsons are not aggressive. Tigers are aggressive. Can't have aggression. So aggressive cat name, gone. Also, you're offending the animal rights people because you're using the one of our fine, furry, feathered friends for making money. The Florida State Seminoles. Now, while I love to trash talk FSU, this is not the purpose of that video. This video. The Seminole tribe. You're exploiting and using the name and imagery of a Native American tribe for profit and for your team. So even though the Seminole tribe has multiple times, very publicly, given their blessing to Florida State University to use the Seminole name and the Seminole imagery, and that includes throwing the flaming toothpick in the middle of their stadium at every home game, the woke white liberals out there are offended for you, Seminole tribe. So even though you've given your blessing to FSU to use the imagery, they can't because the rich white liberals are offended. So I guess Florida State is going to have to change their logo, and since they used to be a circus college way back when, maybe they could change their name to the Florida State Clowns and use a clown imagery, even though clown imagery really upsets a lot of people. But you'll think of something. Don't worry about it. Louisville Cardinals. Well, you're offending the animal rights people. You're exploiting an animal for profit. NC State or North Carolina State Wolfpack. Well, wolves are aggressive animals. Can't have that. And wolves are fine, furry, feathered friends. So you can't have the exploitation of an animal name for profit. Syracuse Orange. Now, it used to be orange men and orange women, but a few years ago, they changed it to just orange, so as not to offend the men and the women by the orange, whatever. The Syracuse Orange are named literally for their team color. That's about as unoriginal as it gets, and that's offensive because it's stupid. But in terms of being offensive to the woke, I don't know how the color orange can offend anyone, unless you have something against orange safety vests or something. But other than showing complete lack of imagination in the naming of a team, Syracuse gets a pass. And finally, in the Atlantic Division, the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Well, Demon Deacons. Geez, there's an oxymoron right there. But demon deacons would offend Christians. Except that Christians are allowed to be offended because Christians don't count in the age of woke. So offending Christians is actually a good thing to the woke because they hate Christians. So I guess Wake Forest gets a pass because they're actually doing something good for the woke and offending Christians. I don't know. Duke Blue Devils, same, and now we move to the Coastal Division. So the Duke Blue Devils, straight out of the gate, same thing as the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. You're offending Christians, but offending Christians is perfectly okay to the woke, so you get a pass, as did Wake Forest. Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Well, Yellow Jackets is a very aggressive type of bee or stinging animal, or insect, I should say. So you have the potential of offending people who are allergic to bee stings. Also, I don't know too many people in my life or outside of my life that enjoy being stung by a stinging insect. I certainly don't. So you're going to offend a lot of people with the Yellow Jackets thing. You also offend people because you play a particularly crappy version of football, up until recently anyway. So you are changing that part, which is good. But you got to change your team name because you're offending people who dislike stinging insects. And I don't know if insects fall under fine, furry, feathered friends, but maybe it does. Miami Hurricanes. Well, you're offending people who suffered loss or damage or victims of Mother Nature and her wrath. But of course, Mother Nature is and Gaia is all good and all powerful and all loving and all fantastic and stuff to the woke. So I don't know. You're gonna have to ask somebody who's woke and into the Gaia thing, but whatever. North Carolina Tar Heels. I actually researched this one a little bit. Tar Heels were the nickname for poor white laborers who worked to produce tar and pitch and turpentine in North Carolina. Now they're white, so they don't count because we all know that white people don't count in the age of woke anymore. But they were also poor, and that means that they were exploited by evil rich white men, even though they were paid for their labor. So technically they weren't exploited, but so I don't know. You're gonna have to change that name though, because even though they were poor white laborers, they were still poor, and poor people being exploited by rich people offends the woke. So even though they were white, they might still be offended. The woke would be offended. So you might have to work on that. You might want to maybe talk to some woke people, form a committee, or something. Schools love to form committees over stupid shit. So they love to form committees over whether they should build parking garages or pave a bike path or something. So form a committee for this stuff. Come on. Work with me, not against me. Pitt Panthers. Well, Panthers are an aggressive cat, so can't have aggression. You're also, it's fine, furry, feathered friend thing, so you're offending the animal rights people. So we got to fix that. Virginia Cavaliers. Well, Cavaliers, as we learned in other videos, are rich white guys on horseback, riding around, usually with swords. And as we know, rich white men with swords did nothing but, kill and maim and abuse and pillage and all that. And they exploited, and even though there's no proof that any of that happened really, the imagery is there, and of course the woke are all about imagery over fact. So the Cavaliers are going to have to change their name. And finally, we have the Virginia Tech Hokies. Well, Hokies, according to my research, are big turkeys. Big male turkey? I think it was a male turkey. Anyway, it's a big male turkey. And even though a big male turkey cannot possibly be offensive, you're exploiting a fine, furry, feathered friend to make money, so you're going to offend the animal rights people. Anyway, that's my overview of the Atlantic Coast Conference, or the ACC, one of the weakest conferences in all of college football. But they're very strong when it comes to offensive team names. So get to work, colleges. Set up those woke committees and change those names. Post haste. We can't have any aggressive animals or exploited animals or rich white guys riding around on horsebacks or exploiting poor white workers or anything. We can't have any of that. So get those names changed. Get back to me. Thanks for watching. Hope you laughed. And if you didn't, sorry about that. Thumbs up if you liked it. Comments, questions, suggestions down below. Suggest some team names. Love to see them. You guys are pretty imaginative down there in the comment section. If you're new here, click the subscribe button, click the bell icon, so that when I post new videos, and I am going to be posting more videos, you'll be alerted to them. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good day.